Tens of thousands of high school students play sports for nearly 500 schools in the Oklahoma Secondary School Activities Association. But that's all up in the air this year because of the coronavirus pandemic. Fox 23 sports director Nathan Thompson tells us what high school sports will look like in the fall, or if they will even happen at all, are questions without easy answers.
From physical contact sports like football and wrestling to sports more conducive to social distancing like golf and tennis. All high school sports are going to be different this year. That's just how it has to be. States across the country are already making big decisions because of the coronavirus pandemic. Texas and California, for example, announced just last week they're pushing back the start of fall sports. But Oklahoma is still going ahead with a normal schedule for the fall, for now. High school sports in the time of COVID-19. There seems to be more questions about it than answers, even for the people in charge.
Never have we had anything like this that produced so much uncertainty.
We've got to be flexible. Are we going to play 1 week and not the next? Are we going to play 3 weeks in a row and not a game? Maybe, right? Maybe.
If you had to bet your house on whether we're going to have fall sports, which way are you going to go?
I wouldn't bet my house. I would not bet my house today.
The possibility of no fall sports is bad news for high school seniors in Oklahoma who have their sights set on earning the best college scholarship they can get, like Broken Arrow's Darryan Moss. For Darryan, playing college ball is a personal goal and more. It's also about keeping his word to his dad, Lloyd, who passed away 3 years ago.
I was going to go play Division I football. I promised that on his deathbed.
And he says his dad hurt him.
He squeezed my hand.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Darryan's mom, Dawn, mourned the loss of her husband that day and worried for her kids growing up without their father.
When tragedy hit, it was scary. It could have went either way, you know.
Dawn says she's proud of how Darryan has grown up.
There he is, that little kind of mischievous grin.
She makes sure he follows the recommended precautions during a pandemic. And she trusts the leaders of high school sports in Oklahoma to make the right call about having fall sports.
I do believe that they care about the kids. They want to keep the kids safe, so I feel confident.
Dawn thinks Darryan will get to play his senior season, but she knows it's a possibility he won't.
Oh, that would be tough. Yeah, that would be tough. I don't know. I don't even want to think that way. It would be really heartbreaking if he couldn't play his senior season.
Darryan already has 7 scholarship offers, but they're from smaller schools. He wants to go to a Power 5 team, a blue blood. A full senior season could help Darryan accomplish that dream and fulfill that promise to his dad with a scholarship to one of college football's best.
When I get there, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy.
Whether fall sports happen for Darryan and everyone else could depend on the efforts people make now, before the season. Schools across the state have implemented COVID-19 precautions to try to help keep their student athletes safe. One of the biggest ones is having COVID check-in stations like this one here in Broken Arrow. Before every workout, the student athlete has to come here, take their temperature, 96.8, so that's okay. They pick up this worksheet next to their name, they write their temperature, then they answer these 6 questions. If their temperature is 100.4 or higher, or they answer yes to any of these questions, they're going home, and they're not coming back until they test negative for COVID-19.
I think the schools are trying extremely hard.
Dr. Bruce Dart is the executive director of the Tulsa Health Department, the point man in the city's fight against coronavirus.
In all honesty, I think there's a chance we could have some sports. I think they won't look like they do today.
That goes for the crowd.
High school that might have 10, 15,000 capacity, you only want possibly a third of that.
It goes for travel, too.
You know, you put kids in a bus, even with their masks, they're together in a closed environment for a long time, which is a potentially high-risk situation, even with the mask. So we have to think about, are we going to not have games where we travel more than an hour, more than 2 hours, so we can limit that risk?
High school sports can happen this fall, but they'll look different. The schedule might be different, and all the changes might not happen smoothly.
This is not going to be easy fall. I mean, it's just not. And we need to, I think, acknowledge that going forward. But we'll get through this if we truly decide to work together as opposed to working apart and being divided.
No matter what high school sports look like in the future or when they return, for some people, it's just good enough that they do return.
If this hasn't done anything else, it's given us a lesson, a crash course in how important just being able to have the opportunity to play is. Let's not ever take participation in our activities for granted again.
Football is the most popular high school sport, but it won't be the first. On the current calendar, football is still a month away. Games can start August 27th. The volleyball, fast pitch softball, fall baseball, and cross-country seasons are right around the corner. They start August 10th. On the same day, football teams are just starting practice. Covering news that matters, I'm Nathan Thompson, Fox 23 News.
Well, Fox 23 reached out to Tulsa Public Schools today for the latest on its COVID-19 numbers for high school sports. We found out 15 people have tested positive since workouts started in the second week of June. Out of more than 1,300 people taking part in workouts in the 9 TPS high schools, we're told there are only 4 or 5 active cases now.